Senators will be in their seats. Clerk will call the roll.
Alley. Baumgartner. Billinger. Blasey. Bowers. Clays. Corson. Dietrich. Dahl. Erickson. Fag. Faust-Gudeau. Francisco. Gossage. Haley. Holland. Holscher. Kirshen. Cluse. Longbine. Masterson. McGinn. Olson. O'Shea. Peck. Peterson. Petty. Pittman. Pyle. Reddy. Reichman. Schallenberger. Steffen. Straub. Sykes. Thompson. Tyson. Ware. Warren. Wilborn.
Senate, we have a guest chaplain this afternoon. Pastor Charles McKenzie is from the Grace United Methodist Church in Winfield. He's a guest of Senator from Johnson, Senator Sykes. Senators, please rise and give prayerful attention to our chaplain, our guest chaplain.
Good afternoon, and would you join with me in a quiet attitude of prayer and reflection? Creator, the one who made all matter and the one who reminds us that each of us matters too. We give you thanks for the gift of wisdom and pray that you'll lead this body to use it. Hear our prayers for the citizenry of this state, especially those who are in need of our help. For those who seek help but find it out of reach, may they find consolation in your healing presence. For all who are blessed with health and security, may we work to fulfill the needs of those who are less secure. For leaders who make decisions that affect the health and well-being of others, may they all strive to meet the needs of those on the margins of our society. O great mystery, remind us that you have called across the ages for us to be the helpers, to be the healers. May our generation be the one who makes the table of love longer and wider, not the generation who makes the walls higher and the doors bolted tighter. For your wisdom and guidance we ask, O God. Amen.
Point of personal privilege, Chair recognizes the Senator from Shawnee, Senator O'Shea.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today is Early Learning Advocacy Day in the State House. Roughly 150 early childhood development professionals and advocacy people are here with us, many of them up in the gallery today. On the first floor, you had the chance to read books to children and to learn about what's happening around the state that supports parents and their children. I wanted to talk real briefly about brain development and age. So the average age of our Senate is 61, and starting at age 30, our brains start to shrink. So yes, that even includes Senator Blasey and I, everyone in the chamber, our brains are shrinking. Good news, huh? But for a newborn baby, all the brain cells that they will have, neurons, are there that they'll have for the rest of their life. But the connections between these cells are really what matters and what make the brain work. 90% of brain growth, so this is when they're growing and expanding, not shrinking like us, that happens before kindergarten, before age 5. If you want to change a society, it starts at this age and it starts in the family unit. So knowing this data as a body, I just want us to ponder for a minute and contemplate the resources that we have as a state. Where do we spend most of our money? Where do we provide the biggest tax cuts? Are there tax credits for this age range of 0 to 5 or the families that are raising children 0 to 5? What policy gets the most attention? I think if we looked at a pie chart, we'd see that we focus on other ages much more than we focus on ages 0 through 5. So again, if we want to change the future of a society, what we need to look at is the youngest and the family units supporting them. So with that, I yield to the Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Petty.
Senator from Wyandotte, Senator Petty.
Thank you, Mr. President, and thanks to the Senator from Shawnee for her comments about brain development. I'll just follow up with, as we talk about those those years of birth to 5 and that brain development, I think it would be important for this body to know that with the point-in-time child care data for this year, for 2023, I mean, the total number of residents under 6 in the state of Kansas is 210,241 and growing. So keep that in mind when we talk about our population. Today, we would like to recognize the talented work of the members of the Partnership for Early Success. This coalition includes nonprofit organizations and child care providers around Kansas who collaborate in support of early childhood care and education. The Partnerships for Early Education works to evaluate the contributions of early learning professionals in Kansas' mixed delivery system. Members recognize the benefits children and families gain when they are offered robust learning, care environments. I hope you got to enjoy some of those activities today in the Rotunda when we had some of those early learners with us and the child care providers to see what's going on. Today, those child care providers, as they're finishing their Advocacy Day events, some have been able to join us in the gallery today, so I would please ask you to join me in recognizing their valuable work and showing appreciation to the professionals dedicated to early learning and childhood development. Please stand and recognize those in our gallery.
Point of personal privilege, Chair recognizes Senator from Cloud, Senator Bowers.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I have some guests today in the Senate chambers I'd like to introduce you to. Last month, 331 high schools participated in the Regional Scholars Bowl tournaments hosted at 22 sites across the state, February 1st. Of these, 72 schools qualified in advance to compete in the 38th Annual Kansas High School Association State Scholars Bowl for all 7 classifications. Today, we have one of those 7 divisions of the Senate Gallery guest seating. They are Division 1A. They are the state champions from Rock Hills, which is Mankato in Jewell County, located in Senate District 36. And as I say the student's name, I'll introduce you to them one by one. We have Kaylin Beck. Kaylin is a junior and plans to attend NCK Technical College to complete the welding program. He aspires to become a leader in a successful business. We have Ariel Jacobs. Ariel is a senior, and after high school, she plans to be an independent business owner and stay in the area. Cooper Ray. Cooper is a senior and plans to attend K-State and major in writing. Cooper aspires to become a script writer, technical writer, or work for a publisher. Hannah Shimlink. Hannah is a senior and plans to attend the United States Air Force Academy in Colorado Springs to become a space operations officer. Are you holding the trophy? Why don't you hold that trophy so they can see? Yes, thank you. We have Isabella Volker. Isabella is a senior, and after graduation, she plans to attend McPherson College to cheer and pursue a career as an elementary or middle school science teacher. We have Ethan Worth. Ethan is a sophomore and plans to attend K-State and major in electrical engineering following high school. And we have their coach, Chris Ray. Coach Ray has been with Rock Hills for the past 4 years and has coached Scholars Bowl for 2 years. These 6 students have the combined GPA average of 3.85. If we can give them a round of applause. And they are joined with their classmates, cheering them on from Rock Hills High School juniors and seniors on their annual visit hosted by Kansas Farm Bureau, Jewell County, led by Christina Jeffries, who's the county coordinator. And I was going to say they're in the East Gallery, but I think they're a little everywhere here. So welcome to the Capitol. And again, thank you for welcoming the students to the Kansas Senate. And thank you, Mr. President.
Welcome to the Kansas Senate. Point of personal privilege, Chair recognizes the Senator from Leavenworth, Senator Pittman.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have the distinct honor today to introduce, if you would stand up, from the Southern Leavenworth Leadership Class. These individuals have taken taking it up for a whole year to dedicate at least a day each month, if not two, of immersive experience. And this is one of their days, learning about the civics, learning about the infrastructure, learning about government, and all those aspects. And you'll notice half of them have their brains still shrinking, and half of them are increasing, apparently, with the age range, because it is intergenerational. My own daughter went through it last year, Bella Whitlock, and she had such an amazing experience, and she took those life skills and leadership skills on with her to college. So thank you guys for coming up here, and if we could give them a warm welcome, I'd appreciate it.
Welcome to the Kansas Senate. Final point of personal privilege. Chair recognizes the Senator from Miami, Senator Baumgartner.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. Today in Senate Education, we had the opportunity to celebrate a very special individual. So if the reader would please read.
Be it hereby known to all, the official recognition is extended to J.G. Scott. Numbers, numbers, and more numbers. That has been the professional focus of our friend, colleague, and budget wonk, J.G. Scott, for over 30 years. Whether the Kansas Senate has been working on millions or billions in expenses, revenues, headcount, or FTEs, J.G. Scott has always been ready with a quick, accurate data point or estimate. His expertise has benefited Senate legislatures from all sides of the aisle in planning sessions, committee hearings, conference committee meetings, and in the chamber during floor debates. Whenever he's called upon to project CPIs, percentage points, or bond indebtedness, J.G. Scott has handled the burdens of being the messenger with grace and a gentle smile. All too often, the good deeds and the good work of an individual are left unnoticed and unacknowledged. Today is not one of those days. Today, the Kansas Senate joins in recognizing the tireless dedication of J.G. Scott, who has performed countless good deeds with intention, not for attention. Members of the Kansas Senate join in wishing J.G. Scott well throughout his retirement. His tremendous, tireless service to Kansans is worthy of our deep appreciation, respect, and admiration. J.G., thank you for your tremendous dedication to helping others and for your servant leadership here in Kansas. Though we lack your numeric expertise, the Kansas Senate can safely estimate that you will be missed beyond measure. Thank you.
Senator from Miami. That might have been a miscue. I thought we were going to clap at the end. So JG,
We can clap twice.
just personally for me, JG was a budget analyst. I chaired Ways and Means. We've crossed over. I was elected just a few years after he started, which probably means I need to retire pretty soon. So it's been an honor and a privilege to serve at the same time as you. Appreciate the moments we've had, conversations beyond analytics in our personal lives. I just appreciate that as a friendship, and it really has been an honor to serve with you, and I wish you the best in retirement. Sir from Miami.
Thank you, Mr. President. JG is a special individual, and he retires next Friday. And we didn't want to wait until that last day to recognize him because who knows, we may be pro forma. So for those of you that were unable to join us at the end of our Education Committee meeting when we first recognized him, first of all, there are cupcakes in the back. And second of all, if you didn't have an opportunity to, contribute, we know that JG has spent more than 30 years counting the pennies, nickels, millions, billions, and we're pretty sure more than trillions of dollars. And so as he eases into his retirement, we've had this money jar available for you to empty your purse or your pockets so that he can ease into that retirement by counting that money. So if you want to contribute a little bit to what he'll be busy doing for the next couple of weeks, please do, and we'll make sure that JG gets this before the end of the day. So again, thank you so much, Mr. President, for helping us to recognize a true servant of the state of Kansas for more than 30 years. Thank you.
This is when it feels appropriate to clap. Again, thank you for your service, JG. Please note references to bills on page 1 of the calendar. Messages from the governor. Clerk will read.
Message to the Senate of the State of Kansas. Enclosed is Executive Order 24-01 for your information. Respectfully, Governor Laura Kelly.
Messages from the House. Clerk will read.
Announcing passage of House Bill 2648, announcing passage of Senate Bill 195, also announcing passage of Senate Bill 307 as amended. House Bill 2648, an act concerning administrative rules and regulations.
Introduction of original motions and Senate resolutions. Clerk will read.
Senate Resolution Number 1744 by Senator O'Shea, a resolution designating April 24th as Ad Astra STEM Day to celebrate scientific achievement across the state of Kansas.
Senator from Shawnee, Senator O'Shea.
Thank you, Mr. President. Will the reader please read?
Whereas, Kansas has a rich history of innovation, both on land and in air, for growth and development in our state. And whereas, this legacy of excellence in science, technology, engineering, and mathematics continues today. And whereas, Kansas is blessed with innovative businesses and industries, quality universities, dedicated educators, and curious young minds that nurture the enrichment of knowledge, the economy, our quality of life, and global competitiveness. And whereas, Kansans have and will continue to have a global impact in STEM development. And whereas, the state motto, Ad Astra per Aspera, encourages us to celebrate our potential and is personified by astronaut Steve Hawley, who is a Kansas native and served as a mission specialist for the deployment of the Hubble Space Telescope after its launch from the Discovery Space Shuttle on April 24th, 1990. Now therefore, be it resolved by the Senate of the State of Kansas that we designate April 24th as Ad Astra STEM Day in Kansas to celebrate the scientific achievements and contributions made by Kansans across the state.
Senator from Shawnee, Senator O'Shea.
Thank you. Jody Spindler is here today with the Ad Astra Foundation. So I encourage you to look up STEM and the Ad Astra Foundation for Kansas. Although this day is in April, we wanted to introduce this now. But April 24th, we encourage you to find ways to celebrate and share the news about this good work in your districts on April 24th. So thank you, and that's all.
Yeah, can you make the motion on the resolution? It's actually, this is a vote.
Yes, the one thing I was really supposed to do. You have heard the motion. Oh no, I move an emergency be declared, the rules suspended, and the Senate Resolution 1744 be adopted by voice vote.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Before recessing, are there announcements? Senator from Sedgwick, Senator Blasey.
Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate the senator from Shawnee letting me know my brain has not yet begun to shrunk, so I'll have to tell my wife. But on a serious note, childcare is something that's been talked about in the halls of this Capitol and courthouses and city halls all across our state. And so I want to recognize 3 rock stars from my home county of Sedgwick who are sitting here behind me to my left. We have Councilwoman Becky Tuttle, who represents East Wichita, CEO of Child Start, Tanya Bullock, and Adrian Ladd, who is supervisor of child care licensing for the city of Wichita. And these are 3 people who have done remarkable work in our community in trying to make the process easier and have child care be more accessible to many Kansas families. And so I just want the Senate to give them a warm welcome as they spend time with us here in the Capitol today. So thank you.
What I heard, Senator, this year at the age it is starting to shrink. So, Senator from Johnson, Senator Warren.
Thank you, Mr. President, and appreciate this opportunity to share a visitor I have here today at the Kansas Senate. And each of us got involved in our role that we have today and the reason why we're sitting here. And then others of the Kansans across the state get involved in other ways to support what they advocate for and what they believe in too. So one of those fine people from my home county is here today, and I want to introduce him to the Senate. His name is Dave Karofsky, and he's sitting over here on the Senate floor. So I want to give a warm welcome from the Kansas Senate. He came today to see how the business of the state of Kansas is conducted here at the Capitol. So thank you for joining us, Dave, and welcome to the Senate. Thank you.
Any further announcements? Seeing none, Chair recognizes the Majority Leader from Cali, Senator Alley.
Thank you, Mr. President. Republicans will caucus in room 548 upon recess, and I yield to the Senator from Douglas, Senator Francisco.
Senator from Douglas, Senator Francisco.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Senate Democrats will caucus in room 287 North upon recess. I yield back to the Senator from Cali.
Senator from Cali.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the Senate recess to the sound of the gavel.
You've heard the motion. All those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. We are in recess. Senate will come to order. Consideration of appointments. Chair recognizes the Majority Leader from Cali, Senator Alley.
Thank you, Mr. President. In compliance with Senate Rule 55, the appointment of John Rolfe is ready for consideration. And are there any questions?
Are there questions? Senator from Miami, Senator Baumgartner.
Thank you very much, Mr. President. I don't have a question, but I would like to share with the body that Senate Education did have a confirmation hearing for John Rolfe. It's my understanding that the nominating committee didn't have a hearing for him, but we did earlier in the session. There was an opportunity for him to make an opening statement, and then every member of the committee had the opportunity to ask him a question. I would say that of confirmation hearings, his was probably the best that we ever had with regard to everyone having an opportunity to ask a question, ask difficult questions, and for him to provide solid answers. There has been discussion that some of those answers just don't match up to what individual beliefs are, specifically with regard to diversity, equity, and inclusion. I do believe that there are ongoing issues as far as disagreement in the direction that some of our Regents institutions are going. But I think there need to be real conversations about those disagreements. I felt that during the hearing, we had real conversations occurring. Since that time, there have been actions taken, and I'm not going to say they're inappropriate actions, because I think when provisos are introduced in committee, that is the legislative process. When there is disagreement between the legislature and different agencies, we have to go beyond legislative hearings. We have to be intentional about our conversations. It is my hope that this body does take heed to the vote that occurred, though it was not unanimous. But the vote that occurred in Senate Education was the vote to pass John Rolfe out favorably. So I urge the body to respect that vote of the committee. I also urge the body to participate in the conversations with our regents. There are 9 of them. They meet each month for 2 days. But it isn't just the time that they're here for a meeting, because their meetings are pretty jam-packed, just like our meetings are pretty jam-packed in a day. It is conversations, expressing concerns, and asking the question, how can we help you do your job, and what can you do to help us do our job? Is what's happening in our universities everything that we're happy about, that we're proud about? Absolutely not. The fact that for not just last year or the year before that there's been declining enrollment, but the fact that for more than a decade there's been declining enrollment, and that we had an appointed body that is approved by the Senate was there and watched the decline, and action wasn't taken. And some of the proof positive that there are some serious issues facing our universities is the fact, look at the tenure of the current presidents and the chancellors. We have presidents in 2 of our universities that have been there for less than 2 years. There has been a lot of churn. So for regional universities, 2 presidents have been there for less than 2 years. You all know that the president for Kansas State University has only been there for just over 2 years. We had the recent naming 3.5 years ago of the president for Wichita State. There is churn in the leadership. And if the direction of the universities isn't the direction that the legislature or that even Kansas residents are wanting, then we have to come together and have conversations. Not through a Senate approval process of an appointment, but serious conversations, in-depth conversations, get in the weeds conversations. So I urge this body to seek out not just one regent member, but multiple regent members. And just like we advise our constituents at home when they call us up and say, I had a problem with a teacher in my 5th grade daughter's class. What do we say to them? Have you talked to the teacher? Have you contacted the principal? Have you talked to the superintendent? That's the process. Because to try and resolve issues 200 miles away from here on a Senate floor is the most difficult way to resolve them. Can we resolve them directly through conversations? Yes. Can regents, individuals, get them resolved with just a phone call from a legislator? No. They might not be able because they are just one vote on the Board of Regents. But they certainly, if they're aware of a situation, can start the process of asking questions. Thank you, Mr. President.
Further question or comment? Seeing none, I'll take the motion. Senator from Cali.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move the appointment as recommended by the Committee on Education.
We'll hold for final action. We're now ready for final action. On this roll call, we'll take the following. The third appointment on page 2, John Rolfe. Clerk will read the name.
By the Governor, member for the State Board of Regents, Jonathan Rolfe.
Clerk will call the roll.
Alley. Baumgardner. Billinger. Blasey. Bowers. Clays. Corson. Dietrich. Dahl. Erickson. Fagg. Faust-Gudot. Francisco. Gossage. Haley. Holland. Hulscher. Kirshen. Cluse. Longbine. Masterson. McGinn. Olson. O'Shea. Peck. Peterson. Petty. Pittman. Pyle. Reddy. Reichman. Schallenberger. Steffen. Straub. Sykes. Thompson. Tyson. Ware. Warren. Wilborn.
Has every senator had an opportunity to vote? Does any senator wish to explain their vote? Senator from Lynn, Senator Tyson.
Preliminary count, please, Mr. President.
29 in favor, 3 opposed. Senator from Barton, Senator Straub.
Thank you, Mr. President. Most companies and organizations fail from within. Whether you're operating a restaurant business or a construction business, there are challenges in every business, from managing employees, cash flow, project completion, and customer satisfaction. I commend John Rolfe for succeeding in an industry that most restaurants fail. 80% of restaurants fail within the first 5 years. 50% of construction businesses fail in those same 5 years. John Rolfe is to be commended for his outstanding skills in not just managing people, but managing cash flow. And I appreciate his contribution to our Kansas Board of Regents in sharing those same management skills with our state universities and colleges. I vote aye in support of reconfirming John Rolfe to the Kansas Board of Regents. Thank you.
For your explanation, Senator Shawnee, Senator Cluse.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to change my vote from pass to aye.
For the changes or explanations, Senator from Lynn, Senator Tyson.
Pass to aye, please.
For the changes or explanation, Senator from Douglas, Senator Holland.
With her permission, I'd like to join the comments from the senator from Barton.
With her permission, so ordered. For the explanation, Senator from Riley, Senator Reddy.
Thank you, Mr. President. I too would like to join the senator from Martin on our comments from Barton. Thank you.
For the explanation, Senator Brown, Senator Pyle. So ordered. Senator from Johnson, Senator Olson.
Thank you, Mr. President. I'd like to join the comments from the senator from Barton.
So ordered. Further explanation? Changes? Seeing none, clerk will close the roll, tally the vote. (31) having voted in favor and 3 opposed to the passage. Having reached a constitutional majority, the appointment is hereby declared confirmed. Introduction of bills, concurrent resolutions, clerk will read.
Senate Bill number 536 by Committee on Assessment and Taxation, an act concerning taxation. Senate Bill number 537 by Committee on Assessment and Taxation, an act concerning sales and compensating use tax.
This constitutes introduction of Senate Bill 536 and 537. Reports of standing committees, clerk will read.
Mr. President, the Committee on Federal and State Affairs recommends SCR 1609 be adopted.
Are there announcements? Seeing none, Chair recognizes the Majority Leader from Cali, Senator Alley.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the Senate adjourn until 2:30 p.m. on Thursday, March 7th, 2024.
For the motion, all those in favor say aye. Opposed, no. Motion carries. Senate's adjourned.